Have you ever heard stories or seen people post in Facebook groups about all the crazy sales they're making on Amazon? 100, 200, $300,000 in sales a month. Seems a little unbelievable, doesn't it? I felt the same way too when I first started about November of 2018, and I can definitely assure you that it is true. The sales on Amazon are wild. In fact, it's about 6 times more sales traffic on Amazon than on eBay. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly how I sold the one item on Amazon. It was 2 different ASINs, but it was one product on Amazon 338 times in the month of June. And it wasn't even just the entire month of June. It wasn't the whole 30 days. I actually sold this item so many times that I ran the supplier out of stock on the 23rd of June, so I only had 23 full days of actually selling this item. And before we get into it, I do want to say that for all people that have ever bought one of my courses or have signed up over the last 3 to 4 Amazon-related YouTube videos we've had, with the link down in the description to get in on the pre-launch of the course, we did launch the course today on October 1st, and everybody that did sign up or has been in our course before did get an email blast about it. And if you do feel like you missed out, we did launch the course at 40% off the original price for the first 2 weeks. If you do feel like you missed out on it, then be sure to stay to the end of this video because I do have an extra announcement for you guys that did not get in on the deal right away. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to go into my computer. First off, show you inside of my Amazon account the exact 2 items that I did sell, break down how much it sold, how many times each one sold, and then show you the 2 different listings on Amazon, break down all my sales, profits, and how I go about finding items like this, what I'm looking for when I'm sourcing items, and everything that you need to know. So let's get into it. Just to start this video off with a bang and to prove to you guys that I am not lying about the amount of times I've sold this item in the month of June of 2019, here is the proof. So if you're looking over here, the first 2 items are this actual item. So it was on 2 different ASINs where somebody took the UPC or took the pictures, changed the UPC, listed it under a different brand, and I will show you the actual listings in a second. The first one sold 202 times in the month of June, but the thing is that these items did not just sell in the whole month of June. I actually ran out of stock, or I ran the supplier out of stock on this item on the 23rd of June. So there were 7 days of this month that I didn't even make sales on this item, and I quite frankly never went back onto this item afterwards, and I'll explain that later in this video. So as you can tell also, the buy box percentage, this is the amount of time that I actually had the buy box. So we do teach inside of the Amazon course that, and we do say that the buy box is where 85% of your sales are coming from. So you really want to aim to keep the buy box as much as possible. And I had the buy box on this item for the whole month of June at 84% and the other one at 75%. So that's a pretty dominant just position in the buy box. And that's how I was able to make all of these sales. Without the buy box, I don't know how many of them I would have actually sold. Probably not many or any at all. So as you can tell, the first one, 202, the second one, 136, for a total of like $34,800 and something dollars. I'm rounding up to $35,000. This one product made me $35,000 in sales in 1 month and around $2,500, $2,600 in profit. I have the numbers broken down in the PowerPoint after this. So here's the first item, or the first ASIN of this item. And like I said, they are the same item. I'll go click on the other one. It's the same exact item, just 2 completely different listings. And what averaged my profit percentage out to around 8% was the fact that, as you can tell, the price of this item is $116 and the price of this item is $98. So it's a pretty large difference in profit. I'm not sure what the price of this item is right now, if it's the same price that I was buying it at or if it's a different price. But that leads to varying profit margins when you're selling the same items multiple times at different prices. So I do want you guys, like I said, to guess what the supplier is down in the comment section below. You can try to find this item if you want, but like I said, I have hopped off of this item, and I will give you guys reasons as to why I hopped off of it later on in the video and why you probably wouldn't want to hop on it either. But without further ado, let's get into the PowerPoint so I can break down this whole entire item, all of the sales. I'll show you guys my entire spreadsheet, the profit, the whole breakdown on that, and how I go about finding items just like this one, where I've been finding items recently that I've sold over the last 2 weeks, 94 times, 55 times, so much more than I would sell any of these items on eBay. I actually did sell this item on eBay as well, and I think the most I ever sold it in one day was like 3 times, where the most I ever sold it on Amazon in one day was like well over 10. So that's that about this item. So let's get into my PowerPoint and we'll explain it in further detail there. Here we are inside of my computer, and before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see some more amazing videos like this. And when you do subscribe, please be sure to hit the bell notification button so you are actually notified of every single time I post a video. Let's also give this video a like so that everybody can see that they can make a full-time income on Amazon with a very small amount of items and you don't even have to hold them yourself. You don't have to send them into FBA. You don't have to buy them up front. We are drop shipping these items. So I have a question for you guys. Besides what supplier you think this item came from, which I want to see you all post down in the comments. The other question is, what is the most profit you've ever made in a month, in one singular month, off one item, one singular item? Yes, this was 2 separate items on Amazon, but it was the same item. So that I'm counting that. So first off, here's the breakdown again. Sales, there was 338 in June, and that wasn't even all 30 days. That was only 23 days. Probably would have been well over 400 if it went the other 7 days, as long as I had the buy box. So it was 2 separate listings, like I said, but I'm still counting it as one item. They showed up number 1 and number 2 for the keyword turkey fryer. And if you think about it, turkey fryers are for frying turkeys. When are the times where people are going to be buying the most turkeys or frying the most turkeys? That's in November. This was literally in June. So in November, who even knows how many sales this listing could be making or will be making in the future, because it's only going to be up from here, especially now that it's September, late September. It's going to be turkey frying season soon. So get in on your turkey fryers, get in on all that outdoor type cooking equipment. So the profit, and I am going to cut to my profit sheet in a second. Profit was $2,632.47, and that's before anything but, that is with cashback, credit card cashback included, but it's still a decent amount of money. And the margin was only 8%, and I'm going to show you guys why. But still, I know how I say Amazon, you can get some pretty crazy high margins, but if you're getting pretty crazy high sales like this, I'm taking the 8% profit all day if it's doing 35,000 sales if one item is. So I'm not going to complain about that. I was getting over 10%, but the listing price did change, and I'm going to cut to my spreadsheet right now and show you guys that. Here is the spreadsheet breakdown. I just took my June sales and I made a copy of it, and I took out everything that was just this turkey fryer. As you can tell, it started off as a purchase price of $73.99. And you will notice that some of them could have been negative, and that's because we have notes right here, MS, LA. These are states that I wasn't tax exempt in at the time. So they were, charging some tax, $6, $5.18. So I could have made even more money than I actually did, but it did come out to an average of $7.96%. So, here's all the order IDs, all the dates, and it's really nothing that great. One listing was selling for 199 cents. So as you could tell, like I showed you the 2 listings already, one was selling for $20 more than the other one. That's even more than it was back then, but it was like a $10 difference, $10.50 difference. So one was selling for a 13.2% margin if I was actually tax exempt, and the other was selling for about 4.89. But like I said, I'm taking these sales all day because I'm already going to be making all these orders on this turkey fryer, so why not just add even more on top of it and hope that eventually this listing price does go up. So it did kind of actually balance out a little bit. So as you can tell, I'm just going to scroll through. Here was one negative from Mississippi. Here was another negative from Louisiana. And I'm just scrolling through, looking at the listings. Everything is all hunky-dory. It did kind of go up a little bit here to 5.31 instead of 4.8. Went up a little bit more to 5.71, but this one went down. This one actually just had expedited shipping. So always put a fake expedited shipping cost on your listings on Amazon too. You will get people to pay for it, and you don't have to do anything different. So at some point in time right here, where was this date? On the 14th of June, it's probably the 15th because my VA orders them the next day or that night. Then it did go up to $79.99 instead of $73.99. So then, the listing prices started changing all over the place because people were on it. This one went from $199 to $105.05, and the other one was at what? It was, it's $91. It was all over the place, really. So this one, then eventually it started balancing out to a more average around 12 to 7% margin, and that's how I ended up averaging out around the 8% that it hit. So like I said, I'm not going to complain about 8% because it's 338 sales. That was a huge amount of sales, and I made $2,600 profit off that item. If I was going to complain about the profit margin, I wouldn't have made anywhere close to that. So let's go back, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I look for when I'm looking for items like this on Amazon to drop ship. Here we are back inside of the PowerPoint, and I'm going to go over the methods that I use to find suppliers and items and everything like that to get huge amounts of sales every single month. So first thing is first, I'm going to be looking for obscure suppliers. I'm going to be looking on SKU Grid. I'm going to be looking on Web Scraper app. Combined, they have about 400 and something plus suppliers, and that is the number one key, I would say, to finding items that are going to be selling a high amount of times a month. Because it's typical human nature that if you have a bunch of people that hop on the most common suppliers, these items might be selling a lot of times a month, but you probably won't be competing with the people that want to do the discounted gift cards and all the different cash back and everything like that on the back end, where I'm making this actual profit on the front end and I don't have to worry about competing with that many people. So with obscure suppliers, there's going to be less people, and with less people, the competition is not, it's going to be more respectful. There's going to be less people coming in there, undercutting and just working it down penny by penny on every single listing, and you don't have to worry about anything like that. You're going to be getting high margins and selling items a ton per month. I've been finding a lot of items from my new supplier recently that are selling at 25% margin, and they're selling hundreds of times a month. Not 300, but hundreds of times a month, and I'm not going to complain about that one bit. So I'm going to be using tools to estimate sales per month before I even start listing the item. So there's many tools out there. The two biggest ones, or there's a couple big ones. Leave any comments down below if you have any other software out there, but I use Ace Inspector Pro, and I know a lot of other people use Jungle Scout, but Ace Inspector Pro is really good. I have a cool method that I use where I'm going to be searching for these items, then I'm going to be going into their store using it in bulk. And I show it all inside of the course on how to source like 70, 80, 100 items in one go. And really just all you have to do is just find the actual item on the supplier's website. But it's pretty easy to do. This tool will be able to tell you that you're selling this many, or you're estimated to sell this item this many times per month. And then all you have to do is ensure yourself that you get the buy box. And how are you going to get the buy box? First off, you're going to want to have a low price. You want to have a price that's close to the person in the buy box. And by close, I mean you want to be within 5% of the person that's in the buy box. It says it right on Amazon. If you're not within 5% of the price, then you're not going to be competing for the buy box. So that's the number one case. But you will notice that a lot of people on these obscure suppliers, or on any supplier in general, they're going to have prices where if you're calculating in sales tax, if you're paying sales tax at your supplier, that you might not even be able to compete no matter what. You might even be losing money, or it's just not worth it for you to go down for that low of a margin if you're paying sales tax. And that brings us to point number 3. You need to be getting tax exempt. There's going to be people out there on Amazon, and Amazon I would consider the big leagues compared to eBay, where these people are taking it a lot more seriously. So these people are going to be going out, getting all the tax exempt certificates that they need, filling out all the different forms that they need to fill out, contacting these suppliers. Not every supplier makes it as easy as Walmart or Home Depot does on their website to get tax exempt. Sometimes you have to call them, email them, find a specific number somewhere, find a different little portal somewhere on their website, and it's not always as streamlined as Walmart and Home Depot will be. But if you go out of your way to actually do this, you are going to take, this time that you take to put in to get tax exempt is going to pay itself off in dividends many, many, many times over. I can guarantee you that. So that's probably one of the biggest ones out there, besides just finding an obscure supplier, because you can get tax exempt at Walmart and still be selling at 5% loss on Amazon. That's just how it is. Fourthly, we've kind of already gone over this. You're going to be finding low competition items. So sometimes, even if maybe there's only 15 to 20 people that are selling this one obscure supplier on Amazon, maybe they're all on this one listing. If there's 20 people on a listing, I don't usually want to hop on that listing because it's going to be pretty just saturated in general. A lot of people will start trying to undercut each other, and it's probably not going to be worthwhile. I try to stay under 10 people. As you saw in the video, at the beginning of the video, there were 6 people on one of the listings that I had. I think there was 10 on the other. So that's pretty low competition, and that's what I'm really aiming for. And fifth, nobody really ever talks about this. It's getting ratings on the items. You don't have to do this. This is not something that you have to do. But as the item gets more reviews, more star ratings, this isn't feedback for your own personal store. I'm talking about ratings on the actual item. You can use software out there to request that the person that buys the item from you actually leaves a rating. And if they do so, then there's a chance that that item is going to go up in search. So maybe in the search rank on the Amazon page. So maybe they're on page 2 for some specific keyword, but you eventually start making some sales. If you get some ratings on there, that could push it to page 1, and then that listing could start selling a lot more. That's kind of what happened with me on that turkey fryer listing. It was only selling about 30 times per month, I think, when I first hopped on it. It eventually started getting some good ratings, and that pushed it to the first page, but there was definitely a bad batch of turkey fryers that came out, or maybe that was just a constant issue and people just didn't leave bad reviews. And I'm going to go over that in this next slide here. So there's some bads about that item and just items in general that you really want to stay away from on Amazon. So that item specifically, the turkey fryer that I sold 338 times, I mentioned that I don't sell it anymore. And one of the main reasons is because I'm not even allowed to sell it on one of the ASINs because I had so many complaints from buyers. And that's because the item was very flimsy. It was made out of cheap aluminum, and it really was it was coming dented, broken, damaged, and people were complaining about it. So there was missing parts as well. The box would break open, parts would fall out, and nobody would get a complete item. But out of all the complaints, I personally did not get negative feedback. But that item, if you went and checked, or if you find it, or if you do find what supplier it's from, you will see that there are some people that are complaining about just the overall structural integrity of this item. It's not very good. So as I said, I eventually got kicked off one ASIN. And when the item also went out of stock on the 23rd of June, and it went out for, I think, until like July 7th or something around there, and that really put that item at a disadvantage because of the fact that it loses search rank and starts to fall off the first page after it's not being bought for a while and nobody's leaving ratings, it's not getting traffic, it's not making sales, it eventually starts to fall off. I'm not sure where that item is nowadays. I did just show it for this video, but I don't look at it. I don't really monitor it anymore. So you guys, if you find it, you can go check and see if it's still making sales. It could be, but it did fall off for a while, and I remember checking right after it came back in stock that it was estimated to make only like 10 sales a month after one of them was making 200 sales a month. So it can be a huge difference, and that's one of the biggest factors into actually, keeping an item at the top. You need to keep it in stock. So in conclusion, you need to know when to walk away from an item, because if I wanted to keep selling that item, I probably would have ended up getting a lot more negative feedback. I did end up dealing with a lot of customers, and it wasn't very fun, I can tell you that, but I did walk away with just about only one negative feedback, I believe, in regards to it. And after that, just a ton of wasted time dealing with customers to prevent a negative feedback. You do not want negative feedback on Amazon. So point number 2 is just a few items are going to be able to make you a full-time income. If you get a few good items, say 3, 4, 5, 6 really, really, really good solid items, you'd be able to make a full-time income. And I consider a full-time income what I was making out of school when I graduated with an engineering degree. With this one item, I was making $2,600 in profit a month. I mean, it wasn't a great item eventually, I found out, but, if I found other ones like it since, not 300 times, but, a decent amount, hundreds of times a month it sells. So point number 3 here, Amazon gets 6 times the sales that eBay does. So even if you do have a great item like this, you can put it on eBay, but don't expect that many sales. The amount of sales velocity and traffic on Amazon is absolutely crazy. You just need to be making sure that you're doing everything to the T and you're going over the top with your customer service, keeping your metrics in great standing in order to stay on the platform and be able to be reaping the benefits of all the sales that you can make on Amazon. It's absolutely wild. So you want to make sure that you're picking the right products. That has something to do with knowing when to walk away. But also you want to make sure that if this item you think has just a high chance to not even be good to start, don't list it. Make sure you're checking your supplier's website, checking its ratings. If it's a glass item, I try to stay away from glass items because they break in the mail, people complain about it, and you really just want to avoid any potential issues before they actually happen with the customer. I mean, the number one thing on Amazon is beating the customer to the punch, whether that is messaging them before something bad happened or messaging them about something bad that could happen, or just not even listing an item so you don't have to message them about the potential that it'll break anyways down the road. And lastly, obscure suppliers is going to equal less competition, and less competition is going to equal higher profit margins. And when the sales are there, it's going to be equal way more sales for you on that one item as compared to if that item had 30, 40 people on it, like a lot of the Walmart onto Amazon listings do. If you can go out there, take the time, find an obscure supplier. I went through the SKU grid, just the whole entire directory last weekend, and I found another supplier that I don't know how I never saw it before, but that supplier is great. I can't wait to start hopping on those items. And just take the time. Nobody ever said that this was going to be extremely easy when you first started. It takes time, but when you put in that time, you're going to reap the rewards. So in conclusion, please post below if you have any questions. I will be sure to answer every single question. I always do. No question is a stupid question except for the one that you don't ask. And also, if you are interested, again, like I said, stay to the end of this video. If you are interested in getting in on this pre-launch, the course is launched at $697, but the pre-launch is $300 off. If you sign up in the link down below in the description, we are going to be doing another email blast in about a week to get more people in on the pre-launch that missed out on it on the last 3 videos where we talked about it, or anybody that's not a course student of ours already. Because if you are a course student already, you'll be getting an email, or you should have already gotten an email by now. And everybody else that signed up for the pre-launch, they already got their messages as well. So in another week, we'll be doing another batch of just messages being sent out. But after that, it's going to be full price on the 15th when it officially launches to the public. So if you are interested, I highly suggest hopping on it. It's over 80 videos long. I don't even know how many hours yet, countless hours. I will count how many hours it actually is, but it's well over 10, probably longer than the eBay course, and it's jam-packed full of information. We really tried to get you guys as many contacts and different people to help everybody out. Internationals, we got That's something that will be doing, setting up Amazon accounts and tax exemption for internationals, account suspension services, and all sorts of different things like that. So if you are interested, links down in the description, and it will be the pinned comment. If you have any other questions, please post them below. And thank you guys very much. I'll see you in the next video.